What's up, gamers? Aaron Shack here with Shackcast episode 25. This one's going to be a bit of a news roundup because we have a lot of little bits of news across the spectrum here. I want to talk a little bit about the future of the DCU and possibilities for this DC universe of movies. I guess it'll be TV shows as well, just sort of stuff across the board. I know they even mentioned that some video games might sort of hint at the DCU, although there's nothing definitive on that yet. And I know some people were freaking out online about that, sort of worried that, like, well, moving forward, we won't get games like the Arkham games or whatever. Like, it would all just be movie tie-ins. And I'm like, you're like taking James Gunn's words on that way too far and way too seriously, because I think it's been proven time and time again that games based on comics, based on movies, based on whatever, it's so much better when they just can go their own way and they don't have to come out the same time as the movie. They don't have to follow the story beat by beat of the movie, like with Marvel's Spider-Man, with the Batman Arkham franchise. Like we've seen games do very well by just going their own way and having a strong, well-crafted narrative and really solid gameplay. So what we have to talk here about is there was a tweet on December 14th from James Gunn. He says, Peter Safran and I have the DC slate ready to go. Couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some of the exciting news about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. And then this is the part that hurts me the most. He says, among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. We had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. So, for me, I think it's a big mistake to sort of, ditch Henry after it's getting very close to having been a decade. In 2023, it will be a decade since Man of Steel. And yeah, we did get him in Batman versus Superman, and we got the mustache thing in Justice League, and then we got Zack Snyder's Justice League, which really sort of, did the full arc that was intended to happen. But obviously, there's more to tell, right? Like there were plans for multiple Justice League movies. So I'm gonna read a little bit of what Henry says on Instagram, because his account seems to not really agree with what James Gunn might be saying. So he said, I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. And he's always so kind. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. Now, this is immediately after, Black Adam coming out and Superman walks out and says, you and I need to talk. Like, we've had that great moment. He says, after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. And that's someone who's been, really passionate about the character and really, not only read the comics, not only is a huge gamer and nerd and a Warhammer fan that's going to get his own series on Amazon now, a Warhammer live action series. I mean, so he's headed to bigger and better things, but you could tell he had a lot of passion for playing Superman. He had a lot of passion for playing Geralt, and he even wanted the Witcher TV series to be more accurate to what the books are. And it seemed like the writers and people on the show were actually more interested in just sort of feeding their own egos and saying like, oh, well, we can write something better, or like, just sort of joking about the source material and saying it's not all that great. But Henry always has a really grounded take, and he's always really calm and compassionate, and this is a great response. Like, it really is. It's not what I want to hear, but like the way he's phrasing it, it seems like he's not coming back ever. But the way James Gunn says it is like, well, right now. So it's like they want to work together in the future, but like, how long are you gonna wait? Like, And then on December 20th, we got a tweet from Dwayne Johnson, and it says, "My passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling." So once again, it's kind of hinting at this thing where Superman and Black Adam are all of a sudden, you just reintroduce them, but now they're less of a priority because you want to tell some young Superman story. However, DC and $7 have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now, and I will always root for DC and Marvel to win and win big. Yeah, and Dwayne has always been sort of a fan of just, comics in general. He believes that not one side needs to destroy the other. Like, Marvel and DC are obviously meant to coexist and compete, and he even sort of wants them to work together on projects, which would be pretty interesting, to win and win big. Let's see. You guys know me, and I have very thick skin, and you can always count on me to be direct with my words. These decisions made by James and DC leadership represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film we delivered for fans worldwide. I will always look back at the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam superhero genre fans, I love you, thank you, and I will always listen to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you. What a hell of a month. Now we all need some Terramana. Have a productive week, and happy holidays to you and your families. Dwayne Johnson. So that's his tweet there. And apparently the other news tied into this is that James Gunn is also saying that the future DC universe is heavily inspired by Bruce Timm's Justice League Unlimited and Young Justice. And yeah, this isn't great news, seeing that they're sort of benching Black Adam. They're like, we just introduced him. We just introduced the Justice Society. And it's like these things can coexist. And you obviously have Aquaman 2, The Flash, and Shazam 2 on the way. And then we've just got news that Patty Jenkins is out on directing Wonder Woman 3. They didn't like her script. And so that probably means that that's just out in general. They've also sort of said that they want to work with Ben Affleck on future projects, and they'd like to have him directing. They just need to figure out what that project is. And then, of course, Matt Reeves, the Batman, will continue to be a separate thing. And then we have the second Joker movie that's a musical with Lady Gaga, which I'm interested to see personally, but it's weird when Ezra Miller is out there being a literal criminal and they keep him in their DC universe. But you have Henry Cavill, just being the greatest guy and, a great interpretation of this character that's just been handed the worst, experience of it, just not being able to reflect the character in the way that he wanted. It just feels like he's getting sandbagged back and forth. And so, he leaves The Witcher, maybe not exclusively for Superman, but, thinking that bigger and better things were on the horizon with DC once again, it seemed like this second chance was happening, and then it just kind of falls apart. So he's really been handed just a bad rap here. So I guess, what does this mean for it? Like, why should we even go watch The Flash, Aquaman 2, and Shazam 2? Other than I'm a big comic book fan, I love DC Comics. I want to see them succeed. But I went into Black Adam with that attitude, and I really enjoyed Black Adam. And it's one of my favorite superhero movies of the year. And, it felt like it was something that was not, a Snyder thing. And it seemed to have homages to Snyder type epic superhero moments and slow motion, not that he owns slow motion, but like that sort of style just sort of shows how much he inspires the overall DC universe, of like how they direct and how they use color and lighting, and just the way they keep the tone kind of serious, but like Black Adam had some really good humor. Like it was all very subtle and sarcastic, and it was fun, but it didn't undermine the serious tone of the movie, which I think is something that DC is really good at, is that keeping that realistic and serious and sort of grounded tone, whereas Marvel is more campy and heroic and action-based, and then they throw in like just endless jokes every scene. But you need them to both be doing different things, so I like that. But I just wonder, like, after making all these moves and all these public tweets and saying, oh yeah, we're done with Superman, we're done with this, we're done with that. So like The Flash is supposed to reboot the whole DC universe, allegedly, with this whole Flashpoint storyline that they're going down. And now it seems even more clear that that's exactly what's going to happen. But they haven't really gotten rid of Shazam, and there are sort of these rumors that they're going to recast the Aquaman actor, Jason Momoa, as Lobo. They're going to make him Lobo in the new DC universe, which kind of makes me wonder, like, okay, so are you going to we're going to find like some blonde dude to be Aquaman now? I'm very unsure. And so it's like, why vault Batgirl? Why ditch Black Adam? Why ditch Superman? If you're still going to release Aquaman 2, The Flash, and Shazam 2, and they're ultimately going to be meaningless because they're not going to be leading to any future movies. They're not going to tie into some future Justice League moment. As far as I can tell, we're just going to pretend that everything since 2013 probably never happened. It's not super great that we're pretty much going to reboot stuff every 10 years while Marvel is out here, thinking about the next 10 years of their projects. It's very interesting. So I don't know if those movies are going to do well. I hope they do, because I enjoy them and I want to go see them myself. But I know a lot of people are not going to want to support the Flash movie just because of the actor and sort of the drama, the criminal behavior that he's been involved in. I know so many people love Shazam, and so they're probably really excited for Shazam 2, because that was like one of the first movies that really took the humor and did it well in the DC universe. And I think a lot of people wanted that. As much as I enjoy sort of the darker, grittier, realistic, Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel type stuff, like, people enjoyed Shazam as sort of a breath of fresh air for the DC universe, and showed that we could still be funny and campy and heroic and all these things, and you still have room for stories like that amidst the Snyderverse. You could have things like Aquaman and Shazam, and you could have Wonder Woman, which was still pretty dark in some ways, especially in that first one, which I really enjoyed so much. One of my favorites. I don't know. It seems like we're losing everything in favor of some change here, and maybe that change will be good. But I do think this would be like doing Superman 1 in 1978, and then recasting Christopher Reeve before doing like a Superman 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like we lost that once in a generation actor that just looks like Superman, embodies him, heart and soul, and has so much passion for the character. And we're just going to say, oh yeah, we want to tell some young stories about him as a journalist. Yeah. I mean, it may be good. And I always think that good Superman and Batman stories are told in this specific way. A good Superman story really does involve him being a journalist and telling something on that front. And then he has to handle the bigger threats of that story as Superman. And kind of the same with Batman, where it's like, if you get a really good mystery, a really good detective story, you can tell a really good Batman story. So that's where I stand on kind of the DCU stuff. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm really thinking that, I think a lot of people were applauding that we found our Kevin Feige for the DCU, and it ends up being James Gunn here. I'm a little nervous now, because it's like, ooh, you making some big changes and big decisions, and maybe some of it is necessary to sort of, be able to have the freedom to do what you want with the franchise and come up with something truly great. But it also feels like you're canning some of the best things that, even if you didn't agree on this, you didn't agree on that, like, it seemed like everyone kind of agreed that Henry Cavill was a good Superman. So, other than that, I have some YouTube updates on the YouTube channel, which if you're not following, you can go to youtube.com/@symbol Aaron Shack 64. That's AARON SHACK 64. And what I have that's so exciting on the YouTube channel is that we've been doing a hashtag ad for Marvel's Midnight Suns. I received a code from the publisher, 2K Games, and I wanted to be, very upfront about it. And I'm so grateful to Khalil for helping me in that process. I reached out to him, and I was so excited to cover this game, and he really helped get that code for me. And I was just so appreciative. And we're about maybe 4 videos in on Midnight Suns, and it's easily one of my favorite games this year. It's a Marvel game. It's a card-based game, but yet there are sort of these moments where you get to roam around the Abbey in 3D as your hunter character that you design, and you get to hang out with all your favorite Marvel heroes. There's some X-Men, there's the Runaways, there's the Avengers, there's a bunch of mystical characters. So it's really cool to sort of see them exploring the darker side of the universe, and then you just get to hang out with all your favorite Marvel heroes. You might want to see what's going on between me and Captain Marvel. So, doing coverage of that, and I'm pretty much slating that every Monday, guaranteed, will be Midnight Suns Monday. So Marvel Mondays are back. So if you're interested in that, please check us out Monday nights at 9 p.m. Central. I try to be live every night at 9 p.m. Central, but I know the holidays are coming up, so schedule will be sort of ad-libbed at times. But yeah, we'll definitely be doing it every Monday, and I'll try to fit in more days throughout the week, but we do have a lot of games that we want to play. And on that, the support has been overwhelming for the YouTube shorts that I've been putting out. I was so overjoyed to see so many people watching the shorts, liking the shorts as well, and oftentimes leaving a comment. I've been also posting short form content on Instagram Reels and TikTok, and it's done really well on those platforms as well. But yeah, just sort of seeing new subscribers coming in and seeing, and a lot of it was some of our Call of Duty content where we were playing the DMZ. It was either me and Andrew Lyons, or Brown Tiger was in there a couple of times. And we had a great time, all of us playing together, and I got some really good clips. And I put out some Gotham Knights combat for Batgirl, and that did really well, and I just kind of did that on a whim. I was like, I wonder what people would think if they just saw a minute of like end game Batgirl content, and it seems like it did fairly well. So I'm really excited and really passionate about that, and I'm gonna try my best to keep putting out that short form content because it really helps, and also it's kind of just something really cool to see on the go. And I know a lot of people just scroll their phones at night and just try to find really short stuff to watch as well. I want to provide that. We're going to continue doing some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's DMZ mode. We're also going to check out the raid. I'm trying to fit it in this week. I just got to work with two people's schedules and see if it works out. But if not, you can count on it that it will happen. We do want to check out that raid. All of us are very excited about it. Other than that, I did finish Gotham Knights. It was a 10-part video series on Gotham Knights, but I do want to finish the side quests where you battle against Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, and Clayface. So that will be coming soon, and I want to try the Heroic Assault mode. And I also haven't played as Robin yet. I was playing as Batgirl as kind of my main character, and I sort of drifted into Nightwing and really enjoyed how fast and agile he is. And then I started trying out Red Hood, and I got a really good, like, powerful range build going. And he's just so powerful, and he has the gun fu, and he's very John Wick, and he's easily very, very powerful with minimal changes. He is just so incredibly strong. And so I want to make sure to try out Robin, and then I will get a review out for that game. I know it's late, but I know that there might be people that might count on my point of view on Gotham Knights and want to sort of see my overall encompassing take on it. And if I can help people that are trying to buy it now or for Christmas, or they're trying to buy it like, later on in the years following as it goes on sale, or, they add more content or different things get updated or patched, because once again, I'm not able to run ray tracing despite having a 3080 Ti, really strong processor, 48 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte SSD, all this great stuff. And I just realized if you turn off ray tracing, like, the frame rate is so much more stable. But there's still texture pop in, and there's still lag occasionally, and occasionally there's frame drops. It's just unfortunate because I think it's a really good game that's been plagued by bugs. We're also going to finish up Sonic Frontiers on the channel. It's a game I've been really enjoying. I think we're about halfway through on that one. And then very soon, we're going to be starting out on the Callisto Protocol. So I've got that ready to go, and I want to get some content out on that. God of War Ragnarok, I did like the first 2 or 3 hours when it came out. And I kind of want to wait until I finish up some of these other games like Sonic Frontiers, maybe Callisto, and Gotham Knights before I jump into God of War, because I know that's kind of going to be, that's a game that you're going to want to just sink in and make it your main thing. And Midnight Suns, I can tell, is going to be like something I can play long stretch over time, running side missions, leveling up characters, hanging out with characters, slowly progressing through the story. It's something we can do long term. And so I'll have other games that we can sort of work in as we go. So other news this week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Central, I will have the Avengers Raid. We're going to be doing, we always play Avengers on Thursdays, but we're going to be doing the Avengers Raid this week with Winter Soldier. So we're going to do the Wakanda Raid as Winter Soldier, because that's the last step in his new quest that will actually get him up to power 165, or his gear will be 165, I believe is what it is. So that should get him to technically power 175, if I'm understanding correctly. And then I should be able to run Cloning Lab with him, possibly, if I'm understanding everything correctly. But we shall see. But that will be Thursday at 9 p.m. Central, usual time for that. And lots of exciting things. I'm very excited, very happy to be pushing out a lot of this really fun content. There's so many great games to play now, and really for me, it's about scheduling them in and trying to figure out how to play them all without letting them drop off my schedule, and then they sort of get lost and forgotten. And we're jumping in a year later trying to remember the controls and where we were and what we were doing. That's always painful. So I try not to let the schedule get out of hand and overburdened. Okay. So if you enjoyed our coverage today, just kind of a news roundup of the DCU, everything going on in my YouTube channel, all my updates, make sure you're subscribed and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest Shackcast episodes, all the videos, live streaming that I'm doing on the channel. And of course, you can find me on Twitter. And I also have a link in my bio, a link tree, which has all the stuff, my blogging that I do for photography, all my social media links, so you don't miss out on anything. I'm creating content in a lot of different places. It's a lot of work, but I'm really enjoying it, and it's really starting to pay off. And we're getting, we need about 22 subscribers on YouTube before we hit 1,000, and that's going to be our YouTube partner mark right there, and just a really good goal in general. The fact that within less than 2 years, I've already eclipsed my numbers that I had on Twitch, which it took me about 7 years to get over 1,000 followers over there, which YouTube it's subscribers. So absolutely incredible. I'm thankful. It's a testament to you, the hard work I put in, the entertainment and education and technical aptitude that I provide here on the channel, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, listeners, viewers, all of it. If you're watching on YouTube, take care and be safe. And same to you on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for listening. Much appreciated. And we will see you on the next one. Take care.